In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the beautiful new delicate corners from the John Next Door collection to make a card on their own, just using this and some of the circles. So I'm going to be using the new press cut mathematically correct nested circle small set, but if you have the large set, that will work just the same, as the sizes are the same. Obviously there's just more in the larger set. So you get 4 corners. I always do, if I can, 4 corners, because I just find it so annoying to have one corner and cut it 4 times. So what I've got here is I've got 3 pieces of card. This is Crafts 2 linen card. I've gone light grey, mid grey and white, and I've cut these to 5 inches, 5 1/4 and 5 1/2. So I'm going to start with the 5-inch piece in white, and I'm simply going to tape each corner on. It's relatively simple. You don't have to get them, exactly precise, but you'll notice there's a point to show you sort of where the corner is on each of the dies. So very easy to do. So we simply tape those 4 down, and we would run those through your die cutting machine, making sure that we save the corners because we're going to use those. Now for speed, I've already got that cut, so I'm going to be using the waist. So here I've got the waist piece from that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5 from the set. So this will be, so that's 5, 4, this will be 3 3/4 inches circle. So I'm just going to tape that down, and I'm going to run that through my machine and cut it. And these will fit through all of your A5 die cutting machines, so your standard size die cutting machines, no problem. So we're just going to run that through and cut the circle out of the centre. Really simple. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some spray glue to the back, but you could use glue glaze. But because we're going to re-die cut it, I wouldn't use a wet glue. And I'm going to pop that evenly onto the next layer, which is the mid grey. And I'm going to take the next die down in the set, which will be 3 1/2 inches. And we're going to cut that circle from the centre. So again, I'm just going to take that and run that through my die cutting machine, so I get the frames working out in a square and in a circle. So we'll take that out, and you'll see here we get the beautiful circle. So what I would do next is to take the light grey, and this time I'm going to pop that down again. I'm not going to glue it on because I want to put a little bit of dimension in here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on just to secure it in the right place. And we'll take the next die down in the set, which will be the 3 1/2, which will be the 2 3 1/4 inches. I will get this right. So we'll pop that on. We would take this piece off, and we'll simply run that through our die cutting machine. So really simple, nice and easy. And that will give us our 3 layers to start with. So we get this beautiful going out and going in, and the corner is there. So we'll take the tape off that, and what I would do now is to add a little bit of foam tape. Should have been more careful there. So we'd add a little bit of foam tape onto that and set it off. So here's one I've already done. So I'm just going to take my foam tape off the back. Little bit of wet glue, because I need to make sure I get this in the right position, and it will stop the static sticking it down. So that gives me the wriggle room to get it right on the outside, and there we go. So there we've got that beautiful look all the way through. I've then got a little bit of foam tape again on here, so I'm going to take the foam tape off. Really simple. Okay, and that is then just going to go onto the centre of a 6x6 card blank. Let me stick that on. So really nice and simple. And then what I've done is I've taken a scrap piece of the card And I actually did this twice to make two. I'm using the corners in opposing areas. So I would run that through, and that will give me two grey corners. I could then use another scrap piece and do the same again, but I want to show you how these cut and how easily these come out. And we need these for the centre. So there I've got two of those. And these come out really, really easily. And we get that beautiful corner piece. So I've got two of those. Which is what I need for the centre. So we'll take those out. So obviously when we've cut the first piece, we had 4 pieces in the centre. So what I've done is I've cut 4 of the corners, this time in the mid grey. And all I'm going to do is drop them back into this space, because the way they were designed, each one is identical, so you don't need to know which one is which. And this just brings this beautiful mid grey in, and we just ease those in. So I've just used a little bit of spray glue on here, and it really just finishes it. And I love the way that you see the colour through. And you may recognise this design, because this design was actually used on the Tree of Life frame. So you'll recognise this is a similar design, so this works perfectly with the Tree of Life. So there we go, we just drop those in. And then of course I had 4 pieces left of the white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these in the centre. So just working across, we'll tuck that little bit underneath. So I'm putting these 4 white pieces in the centre, so it gives me a sort of white on white design, and just adds that little bit more detail into the middle. But of course, because we've cut these from the waist, there we go, so we get that beautiful design in the middle. I'm then going to take the grey, and I'm simply going to add a little bit of glue in the centre of that flower. I'm going to add a little bit of glue in the middle of that flower, but I'm not sticking the rest down because it gives me a little bit of 3D, almost like a little 3D butterfly. And then we simply take, I've got a few little pearls here, and these are, I think, 1mm white pearls. So we'll put one in the centre and one on the little flowers. And when you put the pearls on, you actually then see the flowers that are in the design. There we go. So we'll just pop those on, really simple. And you could sort of pop a pearl on each of them. All I'm going to do is just pop them on these, and then pop one in each of the 4 corners, just to bring that together. And there we've got a whole card. Whilst we've used circle dies, everything in there has been made using those beautiful delicate corners. So a very sort of interesting card, almost like a butterfly in the centre. We could add a sentiment, we could add more pearls, we could really go to town on this. But it's a really simple, clean, just using 3 colours of card to make us something very classic. For more hints, tips and inspiration on this die and many, many others, have a look in the galleries, which are on Facebook, in the Crafting with John Next Door and Crafts2 Facebook group.